Yeah, so off to make another shopping video. Uh, Trying to just add a little bit of atmosphere history to it. So that's my sign that really doesn't even look in focus for some strange reason. Is that better? Yeah. Which is today. So gotta get around to asking whoever owns the copyright to that record if I can use it. But basically I'm just finishing off a coffee. Tea actually. And off to shopping just to see how safe it is or how dangerous it is. And while I'm finishing it off, I was trying to reflect on, where did all this start? And I think it started when I realized America was going to lose its democracy. You go back to October 2025. It's really where this started. And I wrote down the word cyberfighting because all I was really doing is making comments on YouTube via whatever I found, YouTube, Twitter at the time, till it banned me for breaking their rules, even though you should, if you break them once, you should just get a slap on the wrist. But they do sound by who owns it, authoritarian, organized crime by wealth. So don't worry too much about. Don't worry too much about. Yeah, X now. Don't really worry about it at all. Sort of a more of an email person. I've learned to value emails, believe it or not. They still have their limitations. You can't upload a 2-hour video by Gmail. Can't be done. It wasn't set up for that for some strange reason, and yet those type of guys can get you into space. That type of wealth can get you into space because you're heading towards space development, so they can afford to, but they choose not to. Probably to do with profitability. So cyberfighting was born, and that's the title really of ebooks and e-magazines, and there's probably going to be one out March, and the subtitle may be reframed: the AI, creating the AI GigaGod, which could take anything up to 1,000+ years. It's not tomorrow, not in a century, could take 1,000+ years before you can say, technically, you've gone way beyond human intelligence, and yet you're fractions of, sort of giga intelligence of God. You're fractions of it, fractions of gillions. That's the phrase I've got. You're gillions to the power of a gillion to the power of a gillion in infinity before you even start to approach God's intelligence. So it's a digital intelligence. It's not God. Yeah. So the title could be The Path to Giga, a Giga God, dwarfed only by the analog God, which is what I think God is, analog. So the way it processes is so fast, 99.9 recurring a trillion times. We don't get nothing about God, except we can't destroy it. So what's its character? Love. So then I went on to thinking about where is that character Rump? The T's missing because he's a suspected authoritarian organized crime supporter, actor, contributor. Is that framework? Is that mindset? Really, there's no rules. He has no rules. He's universal. He's not of God. He's not of love. His driving force is no rules. So So Congress will say, you can't put on those tariffs. Next minute, he puts on more tariffs again. Doesn't his brain doesn't follow rules. Does not follow rules. And he came from America, so he's a product of America. Venezuela, it's gone quite well. There isn't mass killing there. The Venezuelans seems to have accepted their Maduro less for whatever reason. Russia seems to be the real loser, and it seems to be affecting the Russian-Ukraine war. They're starting to lose land, and they're even talking about mobilization again. And if anything, what they can't really afford to do is another wave of mobilization. That may break, that may be the straw that breaks Russians' backs. Another wave of mobilization that may push Russians to the very edge. They're coming out, and they may say, you're not saying more about people down to that meat grinder again. Yeah, that may be it. So he may ease off that, but that's Venezuela for you. Rump has at least found a way, stumbled into a way of hurting the Russian economy so that they cannot prosecute the war. Now, there's talk of, well, that went well. Let's go and see if we can sort out Iran. I think Iran is another kettle of fish simply because NATO and the United States, they haven't been further apart since its inception. There's no way NATO, even the UK, I can't see the UK ever supporting America in this current mood. There may be some wheelings and dealings, but I hope the king says to Starmer, who's a little bit, let's just use the word fluid. Yeah, he's not what I would call the genuine deal. He's a little bit too vague, suspiciously vague. And I don't even bother contacting him now. I'll deal with the king, who deals with the army. That's it. The police, 50-50. 50% on God's side, 50% authoritarian organized crime side, up to. So it could be either way. It could be 40, 60, 30, doesn't really matter. There is an element. So I don't even bother with the police because I can't tell one from the other until they hurt you. Yeah. So in that context, I think Iran is not a good idea for America. A NATO strong intervention into Iran, that has a better chance, a 50-50 chance. But do not fool around with Iran on your own. Yeah, Iran also has allies as well. And that I can't see anything good coming of that. They're not, if they manage to abduct, arrest, they are really in line with what the international courts should already have said. That massacre from the protests in Iran, yeah, whoever was leading the country, that's war crimes. So America would be correlating with or agreeing with what I think the international court should have already said. They haven't, but they should have already said that they're war crimes, and to arrest the leaders. Yeah, but that's if America can arrest and not assassinate. We don't want assassinations. We want them in courts to be tried. Has Maduro even been anywhere near a court yet? Yeah, you want them in courts, and you want then Maduro to appeal and then heard in the international court. Let the international court deal with them, and we'll deal with and America can deal with, or the international community can deal with the aftermath of the international courts. So Maduro, Supreme Court, yeah, Maduro appeals, goes to the international court, and it may even go to what do the Venezuelans want as well, yeah. But get the international courts involved in a legal, and the international courts would probably say, don't kill him. Give him a sentence and let him appeal his way out of it, if you can. Same thing with the Ayatollah. They shouldn't kill him. They should try and arrest him. Have they got the power to do that on their own? I doubt it, even with all their tech. Yeah. So did 10 get killed in Venezuela? Did 100? Well, what about the Caribbean killings? So we're really on to between 100 and 200 at least were involved, deaths, to get Maduro. And I'm not even sure that was his plan at the start. Not really sure what his plan is at all, to be honest with you. He seems to be hell bent on white supremacism. He really does believe that works. And yet we know 50 million plus got killed in the Second World War. A lot of it to do with white supremacism, whether it's Jews or Russians, whether two, European um, casualties of that. And he's going down the same road. And America, unfortunately, is going down the same road of another. I've said it already. An American Holocaust, 5 to 100 million people. American Holocaust. If Rump is allowed to continue acquiring wealth from these Venezuelan attacks, Iran might be another way of Rump enriching himself to overthrow America's government. Yeah. So this is all going on in the background. He would be in line with the international courts if he did arrest people like the Ayatollah and whoever else is responsible for that massacre of Iranian people during their peaceful march, because they're not armed. They can barely eat. I'm believing they can barely eat. Back to sanctions. Yeah. Are the sanctions wise? I think if you've got authoritarianism and you want to sanction, if you're a democracy and you want to sanction authoritarianism, it doesn't sound very democratic, and yet it's one situation where you can sort of see an end game. But this end game has been from the late 1970s. It's already 45, 46 years old. 1979, Iranian Revolution. Before that, it was really, got on quite well with the West. Then 1979, 89, 99, 2009, 30 years, 2019, 40, 45, 46, 47 years, yeah, of sanctions. And now Iranians are struggling. Yeah, that's why there's unrest. So have they worked? Were they a good idea? Should they still be there? Probably, as far as democracy goes, double-edged sword. You can't win it either way. But we're where we are. America wants to get involved. Yes, arrest them. Get them to the international court. Get them to or whatever court. Get the Supreme Court to convict them. They will appeal and then put it in front of the international courts. Let the international courts decide on whatever sentence, and the international court should not be trying to kill people either. Again, try them and allow them their appeals process, because there may be a way of them. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, there's a word that says you paid for your sins. Yeah, there may be a way. So America is on the right track, but by itself, isolated from European NATO, I wouldn't try and arrest anybody in Iran. Support more protests. Yeah, it doesn't look like Iranians are really in the mood again to lose another. However they lost thousands though, not millions but thousands. They don't look like they're up for it again. So you've only got that abduction route, and that I would say to United States of America, and particularly Rump, you got a 1% or less chance of taking out the Ayatollah alive. You've got a 1% or less chance. I wouldn't try it. Even with NATO, you may be getting nearer 40, 50% success, even with NATO right behind you. And I hope the UK sees sense that this guy is not to be followed too far, because white supremacism, we don't want to go down that route. Authoritarian organized crime, we don't want to go down that route. And we have democracies. America is just about staying on top of Rump, but he still thinks he's above the law. And that's one of the underlying principles of democracy. Nobody is above the law, not even the king of the UK. is above the law. You've got, if he has to kill, it has to be justified. I can't be rude about him and him just say, well, that's a national threat. It's got to be in context. I've literally got to attack him, and then in self-defense, yeah, I get killed. But you can't just try to oppress people just because, and you can't put them into poverty. You can't take them down the road of authoritarian organized crime by poverty while you enjoy authoritarian organized crime by wealth, which is over 100 billion internationally, 20 billion nationally. Those are the limits that say you've crossed into that authoritarian organized crime by wealth sort of bracket. And all those tech oligarchs have crossed well into that bracket. Therefore, then they run the social media. So social media itself is part of this authoritarian organized crime, AOC ecosystem. The people they exploit the most, I'm going to now sort of interact with, they drive the taxis in Birmingham. Yeah, Asian stroke Muslims. Why are they the easiest to be radicalized by authoritarian organized crime ecosystem? Because of their 5 prayers put them right on the edge of right of center, politically, right on the edge. And the social media pushes them over the edge. So if I count 50 taxis now, one of them will be lethal. And it sounds a waste, 50 taxis to get one man. But that's the industry I think these taxi drivers are involved in. They're not minicab drivers by how much they earn. They earn in other ways, either social media, and it could even be legit, or they're involved in trafficking, prostitution, child abuse, yeah, you name it. Authoritarian organized drugs, trafficking, slavery, you name it. This is the world of the minicab driver in Birmingham, UK. This is their world that they get crossed over just by using social media. So my advice to any minicab drivers that happen to be Muslim, either ease off your 5 prayers, which all you really end up doing is becoming more Christian. Yeah, that's all you do. We don't even have a specified amount. Usually we pray when we're in danger. Yeah, that could be once a decade. Yeah, I don't pray at all. Yeah, I don't praise God at all. I don't go to church, nothing like that. Because to me, that's what I've been writing about 11 years in The Religion Separates Man from God. Series of 3 books. There's a 4th I keep putting on side because of the cyber fighting for democracy against authoritarian organized crime. Yeah. So ease off of your religion or ease off of your social media. Stop using it. Yeah. If it's to do with legitimate work, yeah. If you're using social media to buy and sell information that eventually gets used by the people traffickers, the drug traffickers, the slavers, the kidnappers, the torturers, the political people, the oligarchs, if it eventually is being used by them for them to concentrate their power, don't use it. Only use it for minicab driving, and I suspect you can't earn a living doing that. There's too many of you. Yeah. So you end up, you're forced to cross the line, and you're the easiest. You're actually targeted. Yeah, you're actually targeted because they know it literally doesn't take much money for you to cross over from right at the edge of right of center to far right of center. So your whole ethics change. You'll do the assassination. You'll run somebody over. You'll be involved in what they want. They want their children to sexually abuse, even though the children are sterilized. Yeah. What I'm saying is that you're targeted if you're Muslim in Birmingham, in the UK. You're targeted by authoritarian organized crime. Why? You're the easiest to group. Yeah, the easiest. Far easier than the Christian, far easier than the Jew. Only Christians that literally pray 5 times a day from birth. Yeah, can compete with you. That they'll be also being targeted, groomed. Not they're naive. Kids are kids. Up to 16 years old in the UK, you're considered a child. Yeah. But you probably need to double that age before you start actually feeling the wisdom of a man. 32. Before you start feeling the wisdom of a man. 42, 52, I'm 63. I know even now I occasionally think to myself, I haven't progressed from 11 years old. I still occasionally feel like that. So you're targeted. Yeah. And there are those who cyber fight, who know how to manage it while we're alive, because that 50th minicab can kill me today. And this is video number 3. Yeah, a dirty old 40-year-old desk is all most people can see. Might be able to adjust that, but I'm just gonna finish my tea. Should have finished that a long time ago. Bit of Mink DeVille. And I'll go and see just how safe it is out there. So I live with a housing association. They're also authoritarian organized crime. Why? As soon as I leave my flat, within 10 yards, I'm standing by the lifts. There are cameras. They tell social media, Michael has left his flat. Yeah, they tell them. So you may say, well, how do you know the whole organization? No, I don't. The employees of them are involved in authoritarian organized crime via social media. They may say, oh, all we did is just mention that this person, no, that doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't mean anything. But that now triggers the taxis. Sunday morning, everybody should be exhausted from shuffling people around. Saturday night, busy night, they should all be resting, possibly up until, now they should be sort of, they've had a bit of rest, few hours rest. This is their busy time, the weekend. Yeah, but I will count up to 50. That's when you know the minicabs aren't a normal number of a 800 yards to and from shopping. Once you start counting that many with me, yeah, you'll know how dangerous shopping is if you start interacting with social media. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. The Muslim community, you can't help being who you are, but you do have a choice of social media, what you put on there, how much you interact. That social media is pushing you into the far right arena. There's been some Rotherham child abuse cases. So we know in the UK, this authoritarian organized crime probably goes back to whenever they started. And I think they were in the early 2000s. Those cases started, if not the 90s. That's when this has been a problem. And it's not a national problem, it's an international problem. Authoritarian organized crime involves up to 4 billion, plus or minus a billion people globally. Don't think it's just Birmingham. No, up to 4 billion you can consider to be part of this authoritarian organized crime, or abbreviated AOC, international ecosystem. And love digital. Let's get some shopping done.